Hey yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. So, today we are talking about sports. So, all the girls that listen to this podcast, you can leave right now. I said all the girls, like करोड़ों लड़कियां सुनती है मेरा podcast, but like one or two जितनी बंदियां हैं, bro. I know girls are not interested in sports, but I mean, I don't know, but I have never met a girl who's like interested in sports. So I'm just going by that metric. I have never met any girl who's just like, oh, let's watch sports. So you can leave right now if you're not interested, ladies. So today we are talking about why I love MMA, how I started watching MMA, and what I love about MMA, and like why I watch it all the time. So it was 2018. I met a new friend. He was a huge UFC fan, like a huge UFC fan. He used to watch fights all the time. So he put me on to watching UFC. So that's what we did. Like we just watched UFC fights and smoked cigarettes all the time for like 2 years. That's what we did. It was so fun because before I started watching MMA, I was never into sports. Since I was a kid, I was just not into sports or like not into watching sports. I was just nah. It was just not my thing because I tried to watch like football, cricket, because cricket is like really huge in our country. So I tried to watch it and it was okay, but like I was never like so invested in it ki yo, I'm gonna watch a match alone. That's when you are a fan of something, when you can do that thing alone and you're not even giving a fuck if like because you are so invested in it. I used to watch cricket matches with my dad, like जो country वाले matches होते हैं, it's like patriotism आ जाता है, bro. So that used to be really fun, but still it was not like I was really into it. Okay, so in 2018 when my friend put me onto the UFC and I saw that first punch land, yo, I don't know, but I like felt, I was like, yo, I finally found my sport. And till this day, I watch it. I watch all the fights, almost all the fights, and because of that, I started all the sports that I watch now. I only watch it because I started watching MMA because I had so much fun. And when you watch fights with your friends, it's like it's just so much like more fun. अकेले तो मजे आते ही हैं, but when you watch it with your friends, it's like more fun because you're rooting the fighters. And the best thing about the whole UFC thing is that it's like not a country war. It's like individual war. It's like you're backing an individual fighter. It doesn't really matter if it's from Russia, if he's from Ireland, if he's from America. Like कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता if he's from China or she. Like कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. That's what like really put me. That was what really got me into watching fights, was the individual fighter stories, because all the other sports, they are like country based or like state based. It's like really dominated by that, like it's your country, like fuck you, like it's got that kind of thing. Like हमारे यहाँ पे cricket होता है, is we are like invested in, because like India जीतनी चाहिए भाई, India. And I'm not that kind of a patriotic person. It's like I don't know. I like this country. I was like, I'm really grateful that I was here and not in like Russia or Siberia or some shit. But it's not like that yeah, But the individual fighter stories of the fighters was like, I was like, yo, this is my shit. For example, there's this guy Dustin Poirier. Bro, he was like a bad kid. He was a really bad kid. He used to get in fights all the time. Uh, and that was his childhood. Like he used to get fights all the time. He used to get into fights all the time, get into trouble, go to jail, like that kind of shit. And he was just not like a good kid, like he was not a good kid. His situation was not like really good. But now he's like, bro, he's a magnificent fighter. Dustin Poirier, he is like one of the best, if not the best. I love the guy. His whole back, like if that does now, he's like he's a former interim champion in the 155 division, the lightweight division. And his whole backstory is so like next level, bro. Now he's a family man. He takes care of his family. He's a great fighter, great fucking guy, uh, hard worker. And I mean, How does that not fire a fuel under your, like, in your inner soul? Guy used to be so bad, now he's like all like great fighter. Like, he's a true martial artist. Like, he's a fighter, bro. Like, if you watch his fight, he hits so fucking hard. He's like a really big guy for that division, the 155 pound division. He's a really big guy for that. He's like, he should be like competing at welterweight, but that's a whole fucked up scene. But he is like he hits so hard. I remember watching his fight with Dan Hooker. That's when I'm like still kind of new to this whole thing. I've been watching for like 4 years, but still, last 2 years have been like really, I've been really started to get into it. Before that, I used to watch occasionally. Now I watch all the fights. I'm into the fighters. I love everything about the fight game. The walkouts, the press conferences, the fights, the training. That's one more thing. When you like see these fighters do their thing, you're like, you want to do it because you're like, fuck, this is, their looks are good, their fights are good. I want to be like that. I want to feel that good. I want to feel that confidence. There are two kind of there are two kinds of confidence. It's like one that you can fake it, like from the outside, like, yo, I'm really outgoing person, this that, and the other confidence is the one that you feel from your inside. It's like, and that's what these fighters, I feel like, they're so good because the real fighters, the real motherfuckers, like the real motherfuckers, they don't talk, bro. Like Chiro Vera, that guy, that guy had. I mean, I'm not saying that the people who talk and they do trash talk, they're not good. They're fucking good too. But it's like the real fucking warriors. They don't even have to say anything. I don't know. I mean, I have noticed that all the real, like real. I don't like the use you like. I don't like to use the word killer, but like these motherfuckers are killers, bro, in a good way. You know, like they can literally break your face with their hand, and they're so calm. There's something about when you like release all the bad energy in training and like physical, like when you're training, like punching the fucking heavy bag, you're running, you are lifting weights, you're training for the fight. You become like calm, bro. You go zen. There's something about it. I'm fucking sure there's something about it. When you go through all that brutal training, it's just you feel different. And the people who actually do it, who actually go to the deep fucking end, who train hard, like Khabib, that guy is so calm. Like Joe St. Pierre, that guy is so calm. John Jones, he's so calm. I mean, he's a wild motherfucker outside the cage, but when he's fighting and he's doing all of that, he is calm. And like Dustin Poirier, he's so calm. All the great motherfuckers, they are like so okay with themselves, and that's the best thing about it, because you go back, you watch their old fights, and they were never like, they were not born like great, bro. Like that's a fucking huge thing that always bothers me. Is like great people are just born great, and some are, but what I have noticed in these fighters, that's not the case. Like Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz, it's not like they were born into like a very good household and they went to a good school, they got into fighting. They're like, nah, bro, nah. They were born into bad neighborhoods, born into bad circumstances, like criminal neighborhoods, Stockton, California. And their whole backstory is so fucking dope, bro. They're like, they used to like even they used to get into fights all the time. And Nick mainly, like I have seen so many documentaries about them. It's like those guys are like real, bro. Like there's no fakeness in them. Like Nick used to always run in the neighborhoods, because like even he said this story. He told this story on the UFC. They were promoting a fight with George St. Pierre, and he was like mad because he was not getting the same uh, appreciation as George St. Pierre, because he's not the ideal guy, you know. I mean, I don't even know what the fuck that means, but he was telling the story like he used to run in the good neighborhoods, because they used to have like picnic tables, gardens, and then he used to come back to his neighborhood, and it's all fucked up. Like it's all just people are getting robbed, people are getting punched, people are robbing each other, and like that story that just fucking fires you up, bro. Like damn, like these are the people I like really gravitated towards. I was like, damn, I like this. I like this. It's like really pure. Like it feels really pure when you hear these stories of people making out of bad neighborhoods and living a good life. It gives you hope. Like it gave me a lot of hope after hearing the Dustin Poirier and Nick and Nate Diaz. Nick, I just said Nick. Nick and Nate Diaz stories, like the Diaz brothers, I should say. Yeah, like their stories, they give me so much like fuel, bro. Like there's this documentary on Dustin Poirier on YouTube. If you type just Dustin Poirier, this guy makes really good documentaries. He made a documentary about Dustin, like the dark side of Dustin Poirier. It's like that documentary is so good, bro. Like it fuels me when I watch it, and like I just love the whole thing, the whole sport of fighting. It's just there's something so electrifying about watching a fight that I never that energy I never found that energy in any other sport. Like I said, I used to watch cricket. I used to watch cricket with my dad. The big matches, the country one, because like like all the old people in this country are so patriotic. Like, but people love cricket. Like you gotta respect that energy. People love cricket here. It's just next level kind of love. I don't even understand that kind of love. So I used to watch that, but it's like fighting is the that excitement of watching a fight. I never feel that with any other thing, because a fight is only uh, you can only end a fight in 15 seconds. You can't end a cricket match or a soccer game in like 15 seconds. No. If then the match starts, it's gonna go for 90 minutes. They're gonna play 50 overs, and it's just, I mean, that's fucking enjoyable. But for me, MMA was the thing that I was like, yo, this is so like dope. Like, kya sahi maze aa rahe. And everything about it, bro. Like everything, top to bottom. Like I said, press conferences, the build up to the fight, the training videos, the training. I even watched the training camps, the countdowns, the UFC countdowns. Uh, because of MMA, I started watching boxing. There's this guy George Kambosos. I love his story. That guy's like, I love the people who just who like who, who express this warrior mentality, like Chiro Vera does. Marlon Vera, his name is Marlon Chiro Vera. Him, Dustin Poirier, the Diaz brothers, and so many other fighters, bro. Jose Aldo, like these guys are like warriors, bro. Like Kamaru Usman is so good. Uh, Leon Edwards, like Leon Edwards, like Alexander Volkanovski, Brian TCT, like Brian Ortega. If you're like a new person who's like not into watching MMA fights, watch the Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega fight. Bro, that has to be like one of the most exciting fights that I have watched live. I have watched a lot of fights live, but that was like so crazy. Like all these fights are crazy, bro. Like my heart is pumping when I'm watching a fight. Like my heart is pumping. Where do you find that? Like I never, I just never used to get like sports. Like why people are so passionate about sports and the teams that uh, they are like supporting, the fighters they're supporting. I just never got it. When you get into it, then you realize like, yo, this is like blood pumping. There's something like, it's genetics, bro. Like trust me, it's genetics. Dana White said it. Like before anybody dribbled a ball, before anybody before anybody picked up a bat, before anybody kicked a football, somebody threw a punch and people watched it. That's just facts, because I felt this like human connection to fighting. And I know it's like, why do you like violence? Like, but it's like, it's not. I used to think that it's just punch, kick, it's just so much violence, bro. It's just like a ragdoll match. No, it's a chess game. And the perfect, and even till like 4 months, 5 months ago, when I watched that Dominic Cruz versus Chito Vera fight, I used to think it's just all force. I was getting into it. I was like, yo, this is so technical. Like fighting is so technical. You gotta go like, some people like punch, then they shoot for a takedown. They throw leg kicks. They like, jiu-jitsu is so good. That's when you realize you're a fight fan now. When even the ground, I used to think like just punching is exciting. When people are getting knocked out, that's exciting. But when you actually get into watching fights, you're like, everything is like interesting. The wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, the like, it's so interesting to watch a person like implement or like execute a lock. Like when they're trying, like if they're trying to go for a guillotine, if they're trying to go for an armbar, if they're going for a kimura, it's like so interesting to watch that. Like how is this gonna, how this guy is gonna do it. And like that's what happened in that Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega fight. Bro, Brian Ortega is like next level. Like he's like crazy jiu-jitsu guy. He's a black belt in crazy jiu-jitsu, and that's like bro. Like top tier guy. He's like a top tier BJJ guy, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and he got Alexander Volkanovski in a guillotine first. First, he got him into a guillotine, and at that point, I was like, "This is over. This is fucking over." Because that guillotine was so tight. That guillotine was like so tight. I just thought I just thought it was over. And everybody who like watches fights, everybody who watches fights thought that okay, it's over. But Volkanovski is a bad motherfucker. He just like bro. He was like just say it was like it was so good, bro. He was like going almost unconscious. He turned red, but like he popped out of that guillotine, and my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my god, this has to be like one of the most crazy things that I watched live, because I've seen a lot of crazy fights like Rory McDonald versus um how can I forget his name? Rory McDonald versus, oh my god, bro, how can I forget? Robbie. Okay, Robbie. Rory McDonald versus Robbie Lawler. Fuck, I'm so fucking disrespectful. Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald fight. That was a crazy fight. But I didn't watch that fight live because it's a very old fight. But this fight was so crazy. I was like, I just witnessed greatness. I just witnessed greatness, and it's just like bro. Like after the third round, Brian Ortega was like, it felt like he was done. He couldn't even count numbers. They kept asking him what like Herb Dean, he's a referee. He kept asking him like what am I holding? And he was holding up like two fingers, and Ortega was like 3, 4, bro, and they let him fight. That was crazy. And after that he like came out guns blazing. It was just a next level feeling to watch that fight. And that's how I feel about all these fights. That Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier third fight. The second one was fucking tensed, but the third one, it was like uh, more like intense to watch, because Conor like switched his whole persona in the third fight during the promotion of the third fight, and it's like it was just crazy to see. He was like being so nice in the second fight. In the third fight, he turned all into like the old Conor McGregor, and that's why it was so intense to watch. Like he was acting all crazy. It felt like he was on cocaine. It felt so crazy, bro. I don't know. And when the fight was when they do like, okay, Dustin, are you ready? Conor, are you ready? Touch gloves. And that at that moment my heart rate just goes so up. Like I'm like so excited, and then and then like shit happens. Conor breaks his leg. I'm like, oh my god, that was a crazy moment. That was a crazy moment. Everything about the sport is so crazy. Everything about the sport is like crazy. Nothing. There's not like dull moments. There are a few fights that are dull, but it's very rare that fights are dull, because the level of competition in the UFC alone is so crazy. It's like the all the divisions are like filled with killers, and we don't even there are so many under the radar fighters that we are not even aware of, because after the seventh ranking, like who people don't pay that much attention, or maybe I'm just a dummy. It's like seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. These people are killers. Like bro, they are killers, but we are not aware of. For example, there's this fight coming up, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3, bro, that fight is gonna be crazy. In the second fight, Leon Edwards knocked out Kamaru Usman with a fucking head kick. It was crazy. Like that was like a boring fight, kind of. Till the fourth round, I was like, "Kya ho raha hai yaar? Like what is happening in this fight?" I was not even like paying attention at that point. But then in the fifth round, Leon Edwards, bro, his corner was like, it was like a nobody could write a perfect script. If this was a movie, everybody would be like, this looks so perfect. His corner was like hyping him up. His corner was like hyping him up, and it was so cool to watch that moment too. Then Leon Edwards come with that fire, like boom, shuts the lights off, shuts the fucking lights off, and nobody expected that. Nobody expected that, because Usman is a fucking killer. He has been knocking people unconscious for like I don't even know, the Gilbert Burns fight, the Masvidal fight. It's like all these fights were crazy. The Colby Covington fight, and so many great fights. And then comes Leon Edwards, Papa headshot, bang, pound for pound headshot, bang. Everything about that fight was crazy. The fight itself, uh, the octagon interview, the head kick, the build up, the people doubting Leon Edwards because nobody actually was giving a fuck about Edwards. Everybody was thinking it was like Usman is gonna run him over, and that was not the case. That's what was happening for the till the fourth round. It was like a one way, like one what do you say? It was like a one way fight, like dominant. Usman was dominating, and then boom, that's what's exciting about the fight game. It's like you don't know what's gonna happen when a fight starts. It can end in 15 seconds. You can see a 5 minute, like 25-minute war. You can see anything crazy can happen. It's just so fucking exciting, so much exciting to watch rather than a. And because of MMA, I started watching other sports too because of the athleticism. Like I was like so amazed. I was like, how the fuck are these people fighting so hard? Because if, for example, Dustin Poirier is a big guy for the lightweight division, and he hits like a truck. He hits like a truck, bro. I'm like, when I watched this fight with Dan Hooker, they were going at it, bro. Shout out to Dan Hooker. He's a bad motherfucker. Like, they were going at it. When Dustin Poirier was hitting him, bro, I was feeling hurt. I was feeling hurt. Like, damn. You can hear the shots because there was no audience during the that whole thing, the virus thing, and you can hear the shots like boom boom ta ta ta, and it's just brutal, bro. It's just brutal, but I like it. It sounds crazy, but I like it. I like to watch the violence because it's genetics, maybe. It's like Stone Age. Because people, can you imagine the people who were fucking fighting back then? There were no rules. At least in these fights, there are rules. You can't do that. You can't do this. But when there's no rules, and damn, that must have been a really crazy thing to watch. Just two Stone Age people just fighting, like, damn. Those people must be really strong because no pollution, no stupid food. It's just survival mode all the time. All the fucking time. It's just survival mode. That life, we are never gonna get that life. We're never gonna get to experience that kind of life. We're just survival mode. Maybe we'll get to, but it feels like we have made ourselves so safe now. Humans are so safe now, at least in the first world and second world countries. Like, humans are so safe. Like, there's no threat of me getting eaten by a lion or any animal. Like, fuck you, lion. You're not gonna eat me. Can you imagine if I just if I get eaten by a lion now? That would be a meme, bro. But I like I said, I really felt a human connection to fighting. I'm not a fighter. I don't like violence. Like, who likes to like get into violence? I just like to watch it. But because of that, I started watching a lot. Like, I started watching basketball. I started watching soccer. I don't really watch football, but me and my cousin, we were watching that Argentina versus the Mbappe team, which team? Argentina versus France, I think. Argentina versus France finale, bro. Like, we watched that. My brother is a real fan, bro. He's a fan of sports. Because of him, I watched that final, and yo, that was a crazy match. It was like going. One moment we were thinking like, yo, Argentina got it. Then you're like, France got it, and then that guy Mbappe, he scored a goal. Then Messi scored a goal. Then another guy scored a goal. Then it went to then somebody got a foul. It was crazy, bro. It's crazy. Like, सही हुआ ही थी वो देखने की. We were watching in a phone, and it was so fun to watch in a phone. And I was like, yo, even this is dope. I like to watch what our human body is capable of. I really like to see that. That's the reason I started watching all these other things like basketball, because basketball, soccer. But these athletes, they sprint. Like, these football people, they keep sprinting. Like, they fucking go with the ball like full pace, man. And it's really crazy to watch, like, what the human body is capable of. And especially in fighting, when you take that much damage, because in football you're not taking damage, at least in basketball you're not taking damage. You just, it's like it's all about your endurance, how much you can, endurance and technique, uh, how many goals you can score, how many baskets you can like put in. But in fighting, it's like all around. Your endurance have to be, your endurance has to be top notch. Your skills have to be top notch. Your strength has to be top notch. Your fight IQ, like a guy like John Jones. Oh, bro, that fight is coming up. John Jones versus Serial Khan. Oh my god! As soon as I saw the news that John Jones and Serial Khan is gonna fight, are gonna fight, bro, I just got so happy because John Jones is like he has been not in the octagon since, I don't even know. I think his last fight was Dominic Reyes, and that was a really tricky decision. Decision. I was like a new fan back then, and the friend who got me into watching UFC fight, we were watching that fight, John Jones versus Dominic Reyes, and even I was a rookie, and even I thought that damn, Dominic Reyes won because he did more, and I didn't even know a lot about fighting. It just looked to me that that guy did more than John Jones. And then my friend was a John Jones fan. He like started fucking like, nah bro, stop being a bitch. John Jones won. Johnny Bones, Johnny Bones. So I was like, okay, bro. But bro, personally, I think Dominic Reyes won that fight. Super controversial, but I feel like he did more than John Jones. But you know what, it is what it is. Whatever happened. But yeah, that was a that was a fun fight to watch, and it's gonna be a fun fight to watch. John Jones versus Serial Khan is gonna be so dope. So many great fights are coming up. Like my boy Cheeto is fighting. I love Cheeto. He's my favorite fighter, Cheeto Vera. I love that guy. He's my favorite fighter. Like damn, I just like his warrior mentality. He's like, bro. He's like, he's gonna be a champion. He's gonna be a champion. His work ethic is crazy, and the dedication that he has for fighting is crazy. And him and Sean O'Malley, that rematch is gonna be crazy too. Uh, so many great fights so many great fights this year already. It's like the first month, and they have all the UFC has announced so many great fights that it's just craziness. It's gonna be so fun to watch, and it's also fun to watch the fighters like train for the fights. Because I watch these vlogs that they make, or the UFC embedded. It's just so fun to watch them train, because you literally see like they're going through a war. They're going through a mental war, because every day you have to show up to train to get better, your conditioning, your strength, your skills, your everything, plus you're doing all the other stuff. It's like they are going through a war to get into a war. Like when that octagon locks, that's a war, like that's waiting for you. Before that, you have to go through this whole war of getting into like perfect fighting shape. Everything just has to be sharp, your skills and everything. And I I like that. I like to see that aggression, because all my life I never watched that kind of aggression. And it's like constructed. I don't even know the right word. Like it's like they're doing something good with their life. They're providing for their family. I think they are literally the warriors, bro. These fighters would be, if we were living in a tribe, they would be our leaders, because they are these guys are so capable. I mean, not all of them. I mean, I don't know, but physically they are so capable. Like they can literally save their family with their hands. How many people can do that? They can fight anybody in the world, because they're the best guys. They can actually break your face with their hands. So it's like really nice to. These are the people I kind of look up to, because, bro, like they are providing for their family through the purest way you can do as a human, by fighting with their hands. Like damn, bro, that's so crazy. And men need to watch that aggression, I think, kind of, because that's why I think so many men watch fighting. It's just so sports in general, because that aggression, bro, that has to get out somehow. Because when you watch these sports, you want to get into, like, yo, I want to be in shape too. I want to feel that good too. I want to look that great. Like that seems dope. And if that's your mentality, that's your level, but yeah, bro, because agar wo aggression, if you're not releasing that aggression through something positive, you're gonna do it through something negative, and that's not good. I don't know, but like everybody got their own vibe, bro. It's just, that's why I think it's so for me it's so fun to watch because I get to see aggression. I like to see violence. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. This is why I love this is why I like to watch MMA. It's a crazy sport, and I like crazy. I like everything that's crazy. I like people who are crazy. I like music that's crazy. I like sports that are crazy. Just like everything that's just not normal, because fighting is not normal. People don't get it. Like, like why are you punching each other? And even I was like, why are you guys punching each other? For money? For what? But it's a chess game, bro. It's a chess game. In reality, it's a chess game, and it's really nice to watch. It's really fun, and yeah, thank you so much. MMA all the way. I'm gonna see you next week with something